Well, a very warm welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to the 2026 Predator Euro Tour, our first of the year. And we're at the Miracle Resort in Antalya for the Turkiye Open. And this is an 8-ball event, and you join us at the start of day 3 for this losers round 5 matchup in the men's event. And well, two very well-seasoned players on the European scene. Maciej Snegocki of Poland taking on Ike Andoni Echeverria. This will be a race to 7. My name is Gethin Davis, and joining me in the box for this potentially exciting encounter, Aya Sarabi. Welcome, Aya.
Good morning, Gethin. Good morning, pool fans from wherever you're watching. Losers round 5. A lot at stake. 7,500 up for grabs for the winner of this event.
And this Spaniard here already getting rewards in Turkey, picking up a gold medal in the European Teams Championships. Fantastic performance. He played solid throughout, and he's come into this Euro Tour, Aya, looking very strong. He went out in the winner's second round on a hill-hill battle, so clearly really well up for this. Has to take this 10 to start off, you feel, Aya? There's not really much for him otherwise. Ooh.
Wow.
That was tricky. He was reaching.
I suppose if there's ever been a moment in a match where you can afford to have a shaky start, it's basically the first rack. We've seen this happen throughout this event. And race to 7 is quite a short race, considering both players will have 2 breaks. So if you can break one of the serves, hold your own, you've already built a 3-rack lead, and well, you can just maintain that towards the end. If you keep breaking and running the table, which is a high percentage game in 8-ball, particularly when the 8-ball, you know, the balls are tapped as well.
Yeah, that's a good point, Arya. And with this 2 breaks per player format, we have seen some scorelines shift rather quickly and momentum swing. It's sometimes made for some exciting matches, sometimes it's made for some dominating performances, so it has its merits both ways. And Snegocki doesn't really need asking twice. It was a pretty good spread of the balls from Echeverria.
Yeah, it's when we're gonna focus on the losers round in the beginning matches, and well, it literally looks like a murderer's row, doesn't it, Gethin? With so many good players still.
I went to bed last night and I had a quick look to see what was coming up and what potentially could be on the streams first thing. And well, I could have picked 5, 6, 7 matches that are all going to be absolute monsters. And you're right, this is certainly up there with one of them. Both these players can run for fun. Well, that 14 did look tight. Snegocki made it look easy. And this isn't a bad response to the unfortunate start from the Spaniard. And that will bring our Polish player into the lead. And, well, Echeverria still has another break to go.
You know how we call that, Gethin? Smooth as nut butter.
Well, let's see if Echeverria can actually get one off the break and position this time. Did get success. And what you really don't want to see here is another fault on your first shot off the break, because it looks like Snigochki has come out to play. Both players will not be happy to be in the losers round. Again, making bullseye yet. Better position on the cue ball.
Yeah, interesting layout. You can go both ways here, but you know, considering where that 13 ball is laying, even the 9, which he can take away right here, right now, I would have thought the stripes is just probably the better option. Yeah.
Not a bad little pattern here now, are you? Just getting up for the
No.
12 will be the shot.
Yeah. Well, I'm looking, you know, in the previous camera angle, I was just having a look. He can put this 10 into the side, screw his cue ball into the side, and have that 12 upright and take the 13 as last. He's going a different route about it. If that cue ball bounces high enough, and it hasn't per se, he needs to play a good recovery shot here now.
That last shot just looked a bit too thin to take on. I mean, the 10, as you said, good chance in the side pocket, also a good chance in the top right. Just made this a little bit trickier for himself. Has made the pot well.
Yeah, that's gone awkward now. Now, if he can somehow find a gap between the 4 and the 5, he'd be out of jail here, but I don't think that is on. I don't feel like that is on. It's pretty thin here on the 12.
Can he carom off the 4, maybe, and screw into the long rail?
Well, the thing is, when you... Oh, you mean... potted off
draw
the
into
4
the long
ball.
rail. Yeah, maybe.
Yeah.
That would be one way to hold the cue ball.
That's a tricky shot. Might have to play it, yo. Wow. Nice pick there, Gethin.
Oh, well, it's all right picking them, but you've got to make them as well, are you? And he has, and, well, very decent position on this 8 ball. And you have to say, Aya, he's had 2 successful breaks, just not position off the first one, and played a poor shot on the 10. So I'd have to say, it is looking positive for Echeverria at this point, even though the scoreline's 1 apiece and Matthias is off to his start of his 2 breaks. What are you thinking, Aya?
Yeah, I think it's all right. If he would have lost both of his breaks, now all of a sudden he could be facing a 4-0 deficit, and that is pretty tough to overcome. So, I mean, you know, he's feeling positive. I presume he's not, you know, nervous. So it's all to play for at this moment. We'll just have to see how Matthias kicks on with his breaks, 2 set of breaks. If he can keep, you know, producing break and runs, all of a sudden that does change things slightly. Well, how to communicate? I want to keep it as easy as possible for myself.
Yeah, and just having a look around, that 11 ball has both pockets available. I wouldn't mind the stripes here, just going on that cluster with the 5 and the 6. Well, I have to say, you mentioned it's can turn into quite a quick race in these race to 7s. If both these players are going to continue playing like this, we could be in for a very quick fire barnstormer of a match.
Oh no. No, I'm just kidding. Whatever happens, we're just hoping to see two players playing to their potential. That's all you can hope for as a spectator. Of course, if you're mates with one of them, you just want to see them absolutely destroy their opponent. Ooh, that one ball is now in. Wow. Mateus, I cannot believe he's played that positional shot. That is very uncharacteristic from this very experienced top Polish professional. Polish, sorry. He didn't have to play it that way. He honestly should have come on the right side of the one rather than the left side. That snooker was not on if he would have played it the right way. Odd mistake. He could still make this, you know.
Well, caught it on the right side, Aya, just too thin. Legal shot. Echeverria back at the table. That 5-6 is going to need dealing with at some point. Knowing how I've been watching his play over the past few days here in the Euro Tour, he does like to try and develop the problems early. And where the 7 is as a bit of backup, he may want to come in earlier rather than later. He's got the 1 and the 7 just below the side pockets.
I mean, if he can pot the 6 past the 15, this is looking like a very makeable run out. And I'm sure it goes. Or is he trying to play safe?
Oh.
You can try and drop the 6 in. If the 6 does not drop, it covers the pocket, and he sticks his cue ball on the 5. That leaves his opponent with basically no options.
How low down is the stripe? Maybe he can play 6 rail first and then off the stripe and in. He'll open the space for the 8, for the 5. Oh, clean as a whistle.
Yeah. Let's have a look here. I don't think he's got any angle to work with here.
Tell you what, I didn't mind playing it off the rail first just to nudge the opponent's ball out the way. Now he's just finished the wrong side of the 1 if he wanted to draw back for the 5 into the bottom right.
This is gentle tap in. And attack the 5 from the same line that the 1 ball is just potted there. Now, it's an odd one. If that 15 ball was not there, you wouldn't feel a lot of pressure on this, but somehow you just know you have to get this. Ooh.
Oh, I think he's just walked off to let his heart rate settle a little after that. After that shot.
Nearly had the Spanish flu, but fell in.
Indeed, and this a bit like the opening 2 racks so far, and that Echeverria has broken his opponent's break, but Mateus will get the second. Last time Echeverria got the scoreline back to level. Now you feel Echeverria was to take both of Snegocki's breaks. Ooh, that could be a big turn in his favor.
Yeah, you know, just going back to that strange positional shot Mateus played there, really felt like a one-off, uncharacteristic by his high standards, and you know, he had a very good break, of course, in his previous attempt, so I'm sure he'll be trying his hardest to put that to bed. Well, can he see the 5 ball into the side? If not, well, I suppose the only thing he can do is either cut this 12 ball in or take the long putt on the 6.
Well, where the 4-2 is clustered up, he may just be put off going for them, even though the 1 is in a nice spot to be able to run into them. Maybe he also cannot see that 5, which is forcing his hand somewhat.
Not per se worked to his favor. That 14 ball clearly went into the left middle pocket. Now I have to play a good positional shot on it into the bottom left corner pocket. Highly likely the most designated pocket for the 14. Well, it actually does go into the top left as well, so either of the left corner pockets would do.
Yeah, he does have the 13, the orange stripe up at that end of the table, which could help him play an easier position shot on. Looks like it goes, Arya.
I'll tell you what, Gethin, there will be no stuttering on his cue ball this time around.
Did someone stutter? I'm not too sure.
Oh boy.
But that's the second time now. And I was about to say, just as you came in, Arya, what a time for his first break and run. And it looked forever and a day that it would be, but he's overrun that by a country mile.
Called a bang shot. Well, I would say 2 out of 10 this one, from this angle. Going for the Hail Mary here.
Oh, the cue ball, Arya, has gone in the top left, while many may have been watching that 9 ball. What a time to give away, ball in hand. The scoreline 2 apiece, with the break going to Echeverria next, would have been not too bad at all. But
no. Have a look at this. He can take away the 6-7, play his cue ball straight in on the 1, take away the 2, and well, the rest is just pick and choose, really. What a mistake.
Yeah, and he's got quite a nice rhythm when he's in and amongst the balls. Like I said, this Spanish player delivering both with his team, picking up the gold in the European Championships, also here at the Miracle Resort in Antalya. But he came out the blocks on the opening day of EuroTour, and I was very impressed. Clearly is enjoying his time here, and his pool matching likewise.
Yeah, 8 ball is very unforgiving, isn't it, Gethin? When you scratch and you've done 90% of all the hard work, you might as well just accept that you're going to lose the rack.
Well, more importantly, you can watch Snegocki play a whole tournament and never overrun a shot like that. So early morning. Maybe it's just caught him unaware. But he's given himself a little bit of a hill to climb here, and you have to say from where Echeverria has been breaking, it's not looking so good for him right now. He's going to be needing a couple of mistakes to come his way. And you mentioned we have a lot more matches going on in the arena this morning. We have the losers round 5 of the men's going on. This match part of that. Also, winners qualification is also underway. Over on our other table, table 1, we have Stefan Kasper of Germany trailing 1 rack to 2 against the Frenchman Yannick Beaufil. And table 3, Tobias Bongers is taking on Mohamed Erdogamus, and that is 3-1 in the Germans' favour. Now, balls down, Arya. And the cue ball, centre table.
Yeah, considering where that 10 ball is sitting, I don't know if it goes past either of the 5 of the 3. You tend to think he's almost forced into taking the solids here.
Is he looking to run into the 5? No, I didn't think there was any value in it. It was just the way he was dressing his cue to get shape on the 5. And keep the cue
Yeah, a lot
ball.
of plays.
I was going to say,
No,
where the cue ball was, he still had shape on the 3 as well.
Yeah, and just on addressing the cue ball, a lot of players do that. It's basically, it is making it a bit easier to aim. You're aiming down on the shot. But it's the old Jimmy White technique, isn't it? It's always cueing down on the ball, even if he has to play a topspin shot.
Yeah, indeed. Well, I was worried that he'd left himself a combination from the 4 to 1, which I would not want to take. He's been able to get down the table to be able to get shape on the 1. Could play this for a long 4 into the bottom right. That would be the least movement of the cue ball needed. Oh, he's got away with that.
Yeah, he's been a bit fortunate. I'm just wondering, he's got a high angle here on the 4, and that cue ball seems to be going pretty close to the 11. If he can avoid running into the 11, a cue ball could come on and off the top rail, in between the gap of the 15 and the 12. And, well, pretty much perfect on this 8 ball. He's taking it into the corner pocket.
Yeah, bumped into a couple of balls there. Arya did not bother him one bit. And taking the first of his breaks. Another break and run. Snigocki cannot do anything from his chair. We mentioned there's some tough matches out there in this losers round 5 group. Some absolute monsters. If you want to find out more, check the scores, see them as they come in, and also the schedule. Please do visit EPBF.com. You'll find all the links there and to future events. Echeverria to break, leading 4 racks to 1. Race to 7.
Didn't have a textbook hit on the first ball of the pack, but still, A lot of movement and a lot of balls potted. Let's make 3 balls off the break. You can pick and choose here. I would have considered the solids here. No real clusters.
No, I agree. And if he can come round to the top left of the table to play the 2 across into the right side pocket, because, oh, does it go? It may even slide past there. If it does, that's even more helpful. He's having a look. That cluster of 3 stripes was immediately turning me off to considering them, even though the 13-14 looks like it may be dressed up for a combination to the bottom right. Now, just needs to take care to get position on the 7 or the 1 here. And he may have finished a bit flat on this.
Exactly, I was about to say, that was a bit... How do I call this? A little bit careless to end there on the 6.
Did he just leave enough of the 1? Ooh, he played a 5 in a similar shot earlier.
Yeah, and this shot is even easier in terms of the natural line of the cue ball. Use a trace of side spin just to make the putt a bit easier. Come off 2 rails for the 7 to the bottom left. Well, overcut it. Overcut it. Now then, get in. This is actually a very important visit for Mateusz. He was looking down the barrel of a 5-1 deficit. Really needs to step in here and make the most out of the situation.
Well, that little cluster of 3 makes a nice little pocket if he wanted to get the cue ball in there and force Echeverria into a safety position. But he's looking like going into them straight away. Off the 9. The 9 is a big pocket where the 1 is dressed up.
.11 to the side. Yeah, with the angle he's left himself, I think he'll just slightly nudge into the 2 balls that seems to be a combination. Now, yeah, he'll have to make this combination now. It's one of those where when you make the combination, you're going to send the orange stripe 13 ball into the right side of the table, so you can play this with a controlled manner.
Yeah, a little acknowledgement from his opponent there. Very nice. Just saying, good shot. Now, needs to not bring the 8 ball into play here.
Yeah, that cue ball needs to come past the middle pocket. That's basically one of your main aims here, and it's done that to perfection. Well, I did mention this is a very important visit, and it's looking like he's gonna clear the table just to stop the rod. Didn't want to go 5-1 down. I'm presuming there will be no hiccups here. He'll have a chance to level the scores within 10 minutes or so.
Yeah, that's a very good point, Arya. And the difference between 5-1, 4-2, absolutely massive in this race to 7. And more importantly, Snogocki gets his turn for the next 2 breaks to try and bring that scoreline back to level. As we mentioned, plenty of action going on here. Day 3 on the Predator Euro Tour at the Turkiye Open. We have the women's losers round 3 losers qualification and the last 16 taking place today. And likewise, in the men's event, we have the losers round 5, winners qualification, all the way through to the last 16. Lots of matches to come today. We'll be bringing you 3 tables at a time on Pro Billiard TV. Let's see Matthias with his first of his 3rd round of 2 breaks. Oh no, it's his 2nd round of 2 breaks.
I don't feel he's getting a lot of love from the table in terms of the layout after the break. Immediately faced with another dilemma on the table here is called the 14. Of course, as long as he makes the 14, there is no foul on here, unless the cue ball drops.
And what do you think it is, Aya? Is he just not contacting the head ball right, or is it just a bit flappy?
No, on that occasion he didn't hit it full in the face. That cue ball tracked towards the side rail, which always indicates, you know, if you want to execute the break to perfection, it just hits the first ball of the stack full in the face. That cue ball, because of all the force and power, will jump all the way back, crossing the center line of the table, and with the right amount of topspin it will just track towards the middle of the table. That's the perfect scenario if you want to hit it, well, textbook. And that didn't happen there, so yeah, that's the main reason. I'll tell you what, he's hit the 3, and I thought for a second that's gone wrong, but you know, this is still doable. It's not an easy one though.
Well, he could play this one in as gently as he can to leave for the 9 up into the top right. That may give him options. He could then, well, he could take his pick of 15 or 12 for his next shot. Turning it down, are you? He's going for the 12, top left pocket.
Now that's an interesting scenario. Whenever you're faced with 2 arguably equally difficult shots, you just really need to weigh up the options. What is higher in the hierarchy for you? Would you go for the shot that you can cue positively, or the shot that you feel like will probably bring you the most amount of profit? Now on that occasion he chose for the shot that he could cue positively and take an alternative route, and well, still not perfect on this 11 ball. It's a delicate cutback. Might even have to play the 9 now. Let's come around to have a look at it.
This will be a nice shot. Long rail opposite long rail. Oh, he caught it a bit thick, Aya, and Echeverria out of his chair. You have to say, a few too many mistakes from the pole.
Yeah, that's his 3rd mistake, but you know, in all honesty, the first 2 were glaring mistakes, positional errors.
Ooh.
Talk about glaring mistakes. Now
Covered the 9. Small pocket past the 3, you feel, for that 11 ball.
well, If that 11 goes past the 3, I don't think it goes, you know. No, I think he was more than anything trying to tie up the 3 ball into that right corner pocket.
I agree. He had a little look at the shot clock, felt a little bit rushed by that, or at least it appeared to be. And if that pocket wasn't on, I felt there may have been a real thin cut into the other corner to consider, but this might not work out for him. And what a great opportunity to get the scoreline to 5-2.
Could have played that one a bit better.
Yeah, I was just wondering what exactly was in his mind. The long 6, I'm guessing because of the 9, but a little bit further. Okay, so Snigochki has his 11 ball covered. I actually don't mind playing the 9 and then playing the combination and leaving the cue ball right on that short rail.
Yeah, exactly. But I'm just having a look. You want to leave. Always try to develop it. Fair attempt. In potting the 6, you're basically trying to leave your opponent no real shot. So that cue ball would just pass the first diamond on the bottom rail from the right side, roughly in between the first and the middle diamond. See if, oh, the problem with this is he's left his opponent with 2 shots here. 2 into the side and the 1 into the corner. Sure, there's a bit of pressure on it, but you know, it's one of those you fancy a player at this caliber to get. I wouldn't mind to have this as an opening shot.
The fact the 11's come up a bit more, if it had stayed on the short rail, wouldn't have been as much pressure for Echeverria, but now any miss, you feel, Snogochki would be well in, but what a solid pot into the top left corner.
Yeah, at this level, leaving your opponent with a pot attempt like that one, which I would consider, you know, in a difficulty degree between 0 to 10, I would consider that as a 3 out of 10. Yeah, I wouldn't be feeling comfortable in my chair.
And you have to look at it from Ika Andoni's perspective. He's watching his opponent making more mistakes than you are. Only a couple coming from the Spaniard. And so far, reaping rewards with the scoreline. Scoreline now moves to 5-2. And Mateus will have the second of his 2 breaks. So, bit of an uphill struggle for the pole right now. And just looking out over the other stream tables in the background, Stefan Kasper is now 3-2 up over Yannick Beaufil. He was 2-0 down, so clearly taking advantage of his breaks. And on table 3, Tobias Bongers has just stretched his lead to 4-1, and he takes on the home hopeful Mohamed Rajit Erdogamus.
And let's not forget, there's a couple of guys out there, Kevin, that you know personally from the club.
Absolutely. Quite a good crowd of them went down 6, I believe, in total. It's a long old journey down to Antalya from Amsterdam, but they are true loyal Euro Tour players. And yeah, Jan Remper still in it in the winners qualification, and in this losers round 5 we have another friend of the club, I was just watching Mateus's shot there.
Yeah.
That 9-7 got me quiet. The 9-7 needs dealing with.
You know why it got me quiet? Because he has this long pause at the front. For a second I thought my image was frozen. I was like, do I need to reconnect here? Oh, this is his opportunity to run into the 7 or the 9.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's the problem. When a ball is close to the rail, you really need to hit it at best quarter ball. Anything fuller than that, this is on. That double kiss can really ruin the party. And I'm not so sure whether he's going all out attack here now or trying to play safe. Maybe he's trying to cut this 12 in and run into the 9 again. Have a look at this. Have a look at this. What a shot that was.
He's got to get back up the other end of the table though, Aya, but yeah, completely agree, and a nice tap on the leg from his opponent there. That was a great effort. Needed to be made if he wants to finish at this visit. Good luck getting around the table. Can he avoid the 4? And the corner pocket. Oh. That might be perfect.
Love the build-up, by the way, in the intonation.
It's going to be like this all day, Aya. We've got lots of matches coming your way. And I do like the early rounds with my good colleague Aya Sarabi. And, ooh, cue ball took a nudge off the 5, and I thought, whoa. Well, there was also another reason why I went quiet, because we were talking about friends from my local pool hall that are still in the Euro Tour. I mentioned about Jan Remper, but out on another table, a good friend of the club, Damien Jesic, is taking on our friend and colleague on the comms box from France, Benjamin Belhassan, and I was just having a look at the scoreline. Benjamin is in the lead, 6-3 on the hill, so Damien with a bit of work to do there. And I also noticed just underneath another Dutchman, Tim Jonkman, going well. So good representation from the Dutchies. And over to Spain, the current European champions, one of their team members, Echeverria, breaking his 2 round of 2 breaks, and if he wins these 2, he will meet the magic 7.
I didn't see a ball drop. Get in. No, it's a turnover. So once again, a massive visit at the table here for Mateus. If you can nick this one, you can guarantee that Iker cannot run out this match from this inning. I have to say, Gethin, I'm still in awe in that beautiful shot he played there. It kind of felt like a built out of frustration as well. Bit of all in. what a great shot he played there on the 12 to the 9. Just
Yeah,
to keep his hopes alive.
I will go back on Pro Billiard TV and have a look at that one, Aya, because I thought forever and a day the natural angle was to run into the 4, and he just needed to check it a bit in between the 4 and the corner pocket to try and get the cue ball rolling down the table. He avoided them all with a banana shot. Fantastic. Now, can he back it up? Because he needs to at this point.
Yeah, it's an odd one, the game so far, because I've come to know Mateus as the, a player with pristine cue ball control and just making things look very easy and making it easy for himself. But the funny thing is, in this match, it's actually the wild shots that's sprung him back to life. It's not what I've come to used to know from him, but he's still in there, still battling. That's one thing you can be sure of. All these pool players, the pros, they're so resilient, aren't they? They never really give in until you literally physically beat them. On the table, of course.
No, exactly. Well, although we've been talking about the Spanish team's performance here at the European Championships, there are so many strong players and subsequently a good Polish team out there. I think some events I've seen nearly double digits of Polish players and many of them going deep. Just to pick some highlights, Shevchek, Daniel Maciol, who came straight from Las Vegas to Antalya to pick up a gold medal in the European Championships. It's fantastic performances. And, well, Matthias is now 41 years of age, so very, as I said in the introduction, very well seasoned. You want to see the young guns coming through, and you will see more on the EPBF circuit with junior events. But Matthias doing exactly what he needs to do, and ideally he'd like to do that again on the Echeverria break, because if Echeverria was now to make a break and run, he'll be the first on the hill asking questions of the pole.
Yeah, fair statement. And by the same token, I just mentioned before Mateus went on to win the rack. Equally, you could say this is as important rack for Iker as it would have been for Mateus, because, well, there is a scenario that is possible without reach, that if somehow Iker goes on to lose this rack, Mateus now all of a sudden goes on to, utilize his 2 breaks and basically kill off the match. Having trailed 5-3.
Well, the last rack, or rather last break of Echeverria, was his first real mistake off the break. Snigocki pounced on it. This time, you'd have to think a little bit more back to business for the Spaniard. Good spread of the balls. Has options. I think he can also see the 11 and the 15 if he needs or feels. May even be able to see an angle on the 12, but it looks like he's going solids.
Yeah, the stripes were no real option there for him. The good thing about taking the solids, you can just clear up the pathway for the 8 ball. And have a look at where the 4 ball is sitting. It's looking like the typical break ball in straight pool. Nice easy shot to play position on the 8. If he can leave that for last, that would be perfect for him. Or you can just ignore what I've just said.
Yeah. He's come over for the 6 now. I don't know, 6 would probably be my last ball now. and come back across the table for the 8 in the same pocket, but ooh, yep. Camera angle deceived me there, Arya. But you have to say, both players, Echeverria has had the better of the break. I think he's just pipping Mateus with one extra break and run. But now he's forced himself to have to go in and out of the top short rail here, and that is not ideal. It looks like there's a clear path, Arya, but
Yeah, absolutely. And as we see the king of diamonds here. Yeah, has to go in between the gap. Now, for me, it feels like the most natural way to play here on the 8, because it only goes into the bottom right corner pocket in terms of the corner pockets. In between the gap of the 11 and the 15. Oh, it's gone a different way. Full in the face of the 9. I mean, he still got this shot, but let's be honest. He didn't play position like that on it.
not at all. It's like an 8 ball off the spot shot. He's on the 50-yard line. Has to force to go for the bottom right. Doesn't look like the scratch is on, but I could be mistaken. Oh, he's called the bank, Arya. Doesn't fancy it. Fancies the bank. How do you like that? What a shot to take the scoreline to the hill, Arya. Take it
Good
away.
shot. That was a good shot. I have to say, when he called the bank, I was trying to put myself in the shoes of Mateus. He probably would have been thinking at that moment, yes, I might have a chance here, you know. And he swooshed it. Absolutely dead center in the pocket. Great shot. And Mateus really needs to go up a gear here, and he's well capable of doing that. So I have to start producing good solid breaks, and I'm sure you can clear the table after it. But first things first, a good break required.
Yeah, indeed. One did drop early. I didn't see it. Snegotski still at the table. Just going stripes. Is he looking to come round early on the 11? Getting that one out the way. Frees up the 8.
Yeah. Yeah, one of the main reasons you always tend to get rid of the problem balls as soon as possible is because you've got multiple options, alternatives if you land awkward on it, or you know, you're a bit limited with the angle. So that really is the way to approach the game. If you have clusters and you can open them up, you'd be better off, you know, considering the high percentage play, to do it early on rather than to wait for your last option. Because if a nudge does not work in your favor, all of a sudden you might be stuck. You can take this 10, go up and down the bottom rail, although he prefers to take out the 9 first. Matter of preference, really.
Well, also where the 8 is, that 9 really wasn't going to help for position. Looks like both side pockets are blocked for the 8 ball. So now I'd like to pick off these two, this and the 10, and straight on that stripe into the side pocket. will be what the doctors ordered, and break and run definitely needed. He does need another one, Aya.
Yeah. Well, nothing fuels your confidence more than, you know, have good tight cue ball control, clear the table pretty fast, and also, you know, change the scoreline fast. It's something that can be very intimidating if you sat in your chair. Nicely done. Still a bit of match left in this. Both players still have their timeout available to them. Yet to see either of the two take a timeout. Now, I guess if you want to be very tactical about it, and I'm not so sure if that is allowed. I think it is, because I've seen it happen yesterday. Iker could take a timeout here, and Mateus would have to wait 5 minutes before he can take his last of the 2 breaks, but he's not into that psychological warfare, waiting for his chances to come up.
That's a very interesting point you make. Yeah, timeouts can be used sometimes to the advantage, but this a big break for Matthias here. He's in a neat must-win situation. His opponent on the hill, he trails by 1. And
wow, how unlucky is that? Multiple balls got kicked out of the way. Multiple balls looked like they were going to drop. Yet it is a dry break at the worst possible time.
oh, where that 3 ball is, I want to go stripes, but I don't think that's on because there's a really icky green 6 up there.
No, there is. He can take the, which I believe is the 11 into the left side pocket. Now, I'm just wondering if he's got an angle to send his cue ball towards the left side of the table. He could play a two-way shot here. If he puts the 11, just goes past 2, you'd have a shot on the 9, or, well, he's going for the solids here. So that 3 ball, like you've mentioned, as well as the 1, actually, will need a bit of solving. Be interesting to see how he goes about this, Gretin.
Yeah, good point. And that, especially, I mean, good point on spotting the 1 as well. He would ideally like to finish somewhere near that 12 ball, underneath it, and then he could play the cut into the bottom right and develop the 3, perhaps. Otherwise, he's got to come underneath them, and I'm not too sure the 3 has a pocket up the table. Well, that was his first effort at developing it. Unsuccessful. Pushed the 1 ball further away. That's going to make running into it off the 1 a little bit more difficult now. Has the 5 available to the top right.
Yeah, let's just say for argument's sake, he has developed the 1, but still the 3 will need some resolving here. There is a case where he might just have to settle for a bank shot on the 3. Yeah, he has actually come around to have a look at that option. Now, from this angle on the 1, I'm not so sure if he can leave himself nicely for that bank shot on the 3, so he might have to take the 2 first, then the 1, and try and place his cue ball where he was aiming at the 3. It is a very makeable bank shot, by the way, just putting it out there.
Well, after this gentleman played that 8 ball, I certainly think the banks are open.
Bit surprised. I thought he could have run through 2 rails to come a bit closer and straighter on the 1. So he'll take the bank in the opposite, but I think that 15 is a bit more in the way, going it from the right rail towards the left bottom corner. Maybe he's trying to run into them. He's tried to run into them. How has that worked out? Let's have a look. Well, the only possible straight putting angle I can see is into the right middle pocket. How do you like them? Oh, so it might go past the 9 here. No,
Yeah, that's what he called.
This is the biggest shot of the match here. Get in. Natural angle. If you can drop this in, come off the side rail for the 8 into the right corner pocket from this camera angle. It is close.
Oh,
it's close. Perfect on the 8. What a great shot that was.
Unbelievable, really. What a finish to this match. It looked like Matthias Snegocki was going to get it back to all square on the hill. It wasn't to be. Echeverria pouncing on a mistake and making one of the best clearances I've seen of the tournament so far, and will progress through to the losers qualification. And there are still matches underway, as you can see in the background there. Stefan Kasper now trailing 4 racks to 5. Yannick Beaufield of France mounting the comeback and now in the lead. And over on table 3, Tobias Bongers 6-2 up over the home hopeful Turk player there. So still more action, and we will be back to you with fresh matches in, well, quite a few hours from now. But if you subscribe to the Pro Billiard TV channel, you can set your notifications on, and if you want to keep your eye on the start times, please do visit EPBF.com. Big thank you to my colleague Aya Sarabi for bringing some great skills in on that match. My name is Gethin Davis. We look forward to having you back very soon.